Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's? At Kyle's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolarz.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the NordCast. It is episode number 79. It is Wednesday, November 20th, 2024. I am your host here, Nordic97, joined with my good friend Carter Richaud. Carter, how are we doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm extremely tired. School is a lot right now, as I feel like it is for a lot of people. But we're managing, so.
Guy's got to just down a Red Bull, and he's ready to go.
Basically.
At least you're here. And Jack's not. No Jack yet again. He was with us last episode with me. But then he must be scared of Carter because he hasn't.
Here's the thing. It's either you get Jack or you get me, or you get Jack for one episode and then he takes a 4 podcast hiatus and he's not to be seen from for a
month-long hiatus. Yeah. The last time we had the whole crew together and it wasn't with another guest was when we did our Western Conference preview in September.
It's been It's literally been 2 months.
Before that, the other one was August. So it's actually wild, like how long we would go without seeing Jack. But yeah, eventually we'll have the full crew. Maybe next episode we'll get lucky because next week is Thanksgiving week, and I'm thankful. All right, let's move into our topics that we need to talk about today. So we're going to start off with the biggest topic of the week, and it is something that we have talked about previously on the podcast, and it involves the Boston Bruins and Jim Montgomery losing his job. Now, the Boston Bruins are 20 games into their season. They are 8-9-3 for 19 points. They have a minus 21 goal differential. They are lucky to be at least in the playoff race as of right now. And I think that right now, with the way they have played, I think that's actually very lucky for them. And you look at just, it gets me so angry because you look at how this team has played. Everybody except for the fourth line has not performed. Everybody on this roster has kind of been struggling besides the fourth line. Jeremy Swayman's been struggling. The top guys have been struggling. It seems like this whole roster is not playing very well right now. And a huge, consequences for that is a good word, actually. The consequences for that is Jim Montgomery losing his job. So, Carter, you looked at the stats. You evaluated Boston. You've seen how they've played. What do you think so far about this team? And is this the right move for Montgomery?
I don't think Montgomery was the issue at all. I really don't know how that's the conclusion they came to. I really think that he did a heck of a job in 22-23, obviously. Obviously, in playoffs did not turn out that way. Then the next year, he had 47 wins. Like the next year, like still great. He lost a couple guys. And then this year, I don't know. They just started off cold. And I mean, I understand like you want to perform in playoffs, and the Boston Bruins just didn't do that. But when you saw John Cooper and Tampa Bay blow that, kind of not only blow it, but get swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets, who hadn't won a playoff series and were huge underdogs in this, you did not see John Cooper get fired. Yes, I know that the next year they did end up winning the Stanley Cup, but you didn't see any sort of rumors on, is this the end for John Cooper? No, they played. They didn't have the same success as they had that season, but they still made playoffs. They went on a deep run, obviously, which I know Boston did not do. But you got to look at it as this guy's 2 years out from winning a Jack Adams.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how you come to the conclusion that this is all on the coach and Like, no, that's just not it. It's not on Jim Montgomery here. I seriously think you got to take a look at upper management and roster construction. Like,
Yeah.
You guys lost so much and you added a little bit, but there's not much you can really do when you're losing so much. And, one of your best players, Brad Marchand, he's getting up there in age. Like, you got to start taking a look in the mirror here. And, some of your young guys aren't performing either, right? Like, we're talking about Boston, who's one of the most storied franchises in the NHL, and they're not developing their prospects too well right now. Like, they just sent Poitras down to the American League. He was supposed to be a borderline second line player for you guys, and he's not doing that. And obviously, I don't know if it's the system of Jim Montgomery, which I don't think it is, because it didn't seem like, last year at the start of the year, he wasn't struggling with it, but then something happened and he just kind of fell off a cliff, right? So I think there's a few things that you got to look at. One, you got to look at your young guys and your development. You got to start looking at the farm team, because when these guys are getting up in age, when you start to lose Brad Marchand and Pasternak's going to start getting out of his prime, right? Yeah. I don't really know. And not only that, Swayman hasn't looked very good either. Like, I don't know. I don't think Jim Montgomery is a problem. I think you got to start looking at upper management. You got to start looking in the AHL and their development pool with these young prospects.
Yeah, I would be honest and say that I think, Carter, you're going to disagree with us. I agree with what you're saying, but I think that when you're looking in terms of trying to bounce back this year, it's probably the right move. It's the best option they can do. It's the easiest thing they can do. It's easy to just let go of the coach instead of, changing this team's overall roster. And I think a lot of the reason why, and I'm gonna be the stat guy here real quick instead of you, Carter, and I'm gonna talk about Jeremy Swayman here, because we talked about Swayman a good amount during the offseason and into the preseason on this podcast. So far this year, after waiting it out in training camp until 3 days before opening night, Swayman so far this season has a 5-7-2 record, a 3.47 goals against average, and a .884 save percentage. By far the worst stats he's ever had in his entire career. And I know that this is only in a 14-game sample size, but he has been absolutely horrendous for the Boston Bruins so far. And I got to be honest, a lot of that lies on the Bruins for not at least just chucking up a extra $2 million over 8 seasons for somebody like Swayman. And listen, maybe Swayman, maybe he was asking for too much, maybe this and that. But you look at the facts, a goalie especially missing training camp is not good. These guys need these training. They need this training camp to get back and get adjusted to their game. And Swayman missing training camp has clearly shown that it is not. The proof is there. And I think that's part of it. The other part is I feel like a lot of the guys they brought in, they didn't really solve a lot of the issues they had. They may have looked like it on paper. They brought in someone who looks like he's going to be a great first-line center, has not really been so far. Just all of these guys just seem to be really lacking right now. And to wrap up, I want to wrap up what I'm saying, I want to read the last 2 Bruins head coaches and their records. So Bruce Cassidy was the one before Jim Montgomery. He had a .245, 108, and 46 record for a .672 points percentage and a .614 win percentage over those few seasons with Boston. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that this is actually before the podcast came in, so we don't really have opinions on Cassidy being fired. But with Montgomery, we definitely do, because he's been with the Bruins for our entire tenure. Montgomery, 120, 41, and 23, a .715 points percentage and a .656 win percentage. Montgomery has the best record in the NHL of any coach and was fired yesterday. And Bruce Cassidy was the second best in the NHL at his time with the Bruins. Credit to Jason Greger for that tweet. But it shows that maybe the coach isn't the problem. Maybe it's the GM. And what? Don Sweeney's been there for how long? How many cup runs have they been on? Won? They didn't even win it, though. Ever since then, what? They've made it second round? Right? He's Googling it. I'm pretty sure they haven't made it further than then since. I know they've definitely been in the playoffs, but they have just seemed to, and even last year, like, you see them get owned by Florida in the last 2 seasons, and you don't even go out and try and solve the issues of this team's offensive depth and youth. I don't understand it. It really is a head scratcher for me. Like, a lot of these guys on this team are just really struggling right now, except for oddly the fourth line. It's the weirdest thing that I've seen. But again, with the Bruins, we'll see if they can turn it around. Joe Sacco is becoming the interim. He has been with the Bruins since 2014. I don't know if it's necessarily the greatest move in the world, but it is an assistant coach who has a good history with the team, has been there for a very long time. So it's good that he's finally getting an opportunity to kind of talk to this roster and, obviously have a chance to be the head coach. And maybe they turn this around. Maybe they turn this around and they make the playoffs and we won't complain, or we won't. You could get proved wrong. We're still going to complain. But overall, just looking at this Bruins team, I don't know. I think if they bottom out, well, maybe not bottom out. If they miss the playoffs, I think Don Sweeney needs to go. Being honest.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to pull up. Okay, here's their season by season record. So Don Sweeney took over as GM in 2015. So he took over I'm assuming it was the 2015-16 season. So in his first year, he got them to 42, 31, and 9. 21-22, 51 wins. Like, he's had some good years, but at the same time, like, I don't know what. There's so many things that could be the problem here, and I think when you give a GM 10 years, right? 10 years is a massive sample size. There's certain scenarios where you can look at it and say, this is a small sample size, like, we got to give him more time. He's dealt with prime Patrice Bergeron, prime Brad Marchand, prime David Pastrnak. He had some great goaltending, some great defensemen. He had Zdeno Chara when they were, like, just unreal. And not a ring to show for it.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the coaching, who both of them put up above a 700 win percentage, 2 years, you're done. We're going to give you a 2-year sample size. That does not make sense. 5 years, 3 coaches. And you've had 10 years, 1 GM. You got to look at the GM now. It's that time where ownership has to look and say, okay, we're going to give you till maybe the trade deadline, but you got to make some moves to shake up this roster, because we've had 2 times where you fired the coach. It's now on you, because you can't go this long by firing coaches and not have a look in the mirror and say, maybe I'm the problem.
So,
and that's what they have to do.
Yeah. So I got another list pulled up here. So the longest tenured general managers, again, you said Don Sweeney came in May 20th, 2015. He is the 4th longest tenured general manager right now, behind Dallas Stars Jim Nill, who in 2013 built this Stars team up, got them into the playoffs. They made a cup final in there. They've been conference finals for the last couple of seasons. Kevin Cheveldayoff with the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, he's had his good years in there as well. And then Doug Armstrong, the longest tenured general manager, but he's giving that to Alex Steen at the end of the 2025-26 season, I believe, either this end of this season or next season. But when do you realize, like, you look at those 2 guys above them, you look at Nill again, he built this team up. They've been on playoff runs. They've been trying to get over the hump. They've been doing better than Boston, that's for sure, the last 3 seasons, if we look in terms of playoff success. Kevin Cheveldayoff, you can speak for how Cheveldayoff has been. I'm sure there have been times where you've been like, I don't really know. But the Jets are first in the league right now, so that has to say something at the very least. And then Armstrong, he won a cup. Sweeney can't say that. I mean, ironically, he beat Sweeney. But yeah. I think that there's got to be a point where you come to realize what happens next with the Bruins. Now, before we wrap up with Boston and move on to our next topic, Carter, do you have their playoff season by season pulled up? I don't know if you read that off when you were
Yes, I could probably. I don't have like their. I have like the result for every season.
Yeah, so read that
Okay.
off. I can probably remember who they
Okay,
played.
so if it's since 2015, so this is going to go from 2015 up.
Yeah.
Did not make it. Round 1, round 2, Stanley Cup final, round 2, round 2, round 1, round 1, round 2. Like, he's made it past the second round once.
When do you realize that's the problem?
And listen, we can make fun of the Leafs all we want for not making it past the first round. The Boston Bruins have not made it past the second round in how long? They haven't made it past the second round other than the one time since the 2012-2013 season. It has been 11 years, and they've made it past the second round once. Exactly. So you have really got to start taking a look in the mirror as the general manager and start making some moves. Ownership's got to start tightening up this leash because it could become too far gone soon. It could.
Good. Yeah, I agree. Were you guys? I shouldn't say they're wasting the primes of Pastrnak and all of them, but something's got to give here. They've only been the one cup final with this core. I mean, we're talking so much like Toronto right now, but the facts are there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from the Boston Bruins. We just spent a good 15 minutes there talking about them. Let's move on to Alex Ovechkin. Let's move on to some more positive and I guess some somewhat negative news here. So Alex Ovechkin has looked absolutely unbelievable to start the season, but last night he got injured or 2 nights ago he got injured off of a play from Jack McBain. I sent the clip to the chat. It's not like a suspension or anything. It's not dirty. It doesn't look intentional. It just seems like McBain kind of caught Ovechkin's knee. It was knee-on-knee contact. And Ovechkin appears to be out for at least the rest of November. He is week to week with a lower body injury. And I think that it sucks because of how Ovechkin's been this year. Carter, do you have Ovechkin stats pulled up?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to let the stats guy read them off. So how has Ovechkin been this year? Because he has been making absolutely unbelievable headlines.
Yeah, I mean, he has been on an absolute tear. Before his injury, he's leading the league in goals. He has 15 goals through 18 games so far. He is off to an absolutely crazy start. He's already at almost half of what he had last year. Last year, he put up 31. So he's at 15 right now. He's looking just unbelievable. He had a hat trick, I believe, 2 games ago for the Washington Capitals. So that was really, really exciting to watch. But he's got 15 goals, 10 assists for 25 points, and he's also a plus 15. That is one of the best plus minuses I think he's almost had in almost his entire career. Okay, other than the start of his season, but in a long time, that's the best plus minus he's had. So he's playing really well defensively. But I mean, yeah, 15 goals. He's 31 away?
26.
26. Yeah. So he's 26 goals away from this.
Close. It is actually insane. Carter, he might break it this season.
I know.
I think he probably will. And the crazy thing is, too, he might do it in less games than it took for Gretzky to do it. So let me read off this tweet from Dan Riccio. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying it right. So forget just breaking Gretzky's record. Ovi's chase has a twist. Can he do it in fewer games than the great one? So Gretzky scored 894 goals in 1,487 games played. Ovechkin currently has 868 goals in 1,444 games played. If he scores 29 more in the next 44 games, he'll hit 895 in fewer games. That is actually wild.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy to think, and I think he can do it. And also, I think he could very well. He's 39 years old and he's scoring at what, a 40 goal pace, a 45 goal pace. Carter, I think this guy could reach 1,000 goals. What do you think? Might be a little bit of a climb, but
that might be a little bit of a stretch because, like, yeah, of course, if he continues to score at a 40 goal pace, I mean, he's got it in, like,
well, 900 for sure. I'll say 900.
Yeah, he'll hit 900 for sure. 1,000 goals though, I mean, he'd have to probably play till he's 42, 43 years old. I don't know if he's willing to pull a Yager, but I mean, I don't doubt that he might not, that maybe he does do that. Who knows? We'll see. He's been in the league for already 20 years, so
yeah.
We'll have to see what Ovi does, but I think he hits the 900 mark for sure, and I think, in my opinion, I think he'll be scraping to get that 19, or oh my goodness, 950 mark. I can't even speak right now. I think that he can be scraping to get that 950 mark. But 1,000 goals, I think he'd have to play till he's 43, and I don't know if he has that in him.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Well, you can factor this in too with the fact that he's played through 3 shortened seasons and a few seasons in there where he's been injured too. So that's also pretty crazy to think as well that he's going to reach this in so many less games. If you add in the second half of the year in 2012, 2013, you add in the second halves of the year in 2021 and 2019-20, I think he's already at 900 goals. Then we could be talking about 1,000 possibly. But
yes,
I think that, maybe I was jumping to conclusions a little bit there. But I mean, hey, if he's playing it the way he's playing, I think it's very possible. I'm not ruling it out. He is already, in my opinion, the greatest goal scorer to ever play in this league. So
for sure.
It's great to see, and it feels awesome that we're kind of witnessing history here, to be honest. Okay, let's move on from that to the Ryan Reaves debacle. So, Ryan Reaves was suspended 5 games for an illegal check to the head on Darnell Nurse. First off, Carter, have you seen the hit?
Kind of. I caught a few glimpses of it. I never really got super I don't really know.
Let me send it to you.
You can send. I've seen it, and I don't know how
So basically, Darnell Nurse is taking the puck around the Oilers' net, and Ryan Reaves just comes up and hits him straight in the head. Essentially, there's head contact. You can see Nurse's head, the weird thing is Nurse's head spins around if you actually look at the hit itself. It is a brutal hit, and for someone like Ryan Reaves, who has been suspended before, I think that this is a fair suspension for sure.
I don't know. I'm in a weird spot with that hit. Because on the one hand, I don't think that Reaves does it intentionally at all.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's intentional either. I didn't say that, but I think that it's definitely dirty for sure.
Well, I mean, looking at it, Nurse is he's down a little, he's got enough of his head down, and where Reaves hits him, he gets him here, and then it just happens to ride up and get him. I don't know. I don't.
But you can tell that he was. You can tell that still head contact, whether or not Nurse's head's down or not. It's still dirty. It's still head contact. There may be fault on Nurse for having his head down. I even said that in my video, but it's still head contact. Can't argue that.
I don't know. I think that it's a little bit too long of a suspension. I get it. Reaves has a reputation. But at the same time, I also don't think that was the worst. That wasn't as bad of a hit as I feel like the result on Darnell Nurse was.
He's out 5 to 10 days, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think that the hit was as bad as the injury was. I think it's unlucky because how he spins is kind of what fucks him, and then the fact that his helmet's like this when he lands, so he's already like if your helmet stays on tight, and you hit the ice like that, you should be okay. But it's the fact that it goes like this and then adds a little bit more force to it. So, I don't know. It's not the best case scenario. I'm not exactly sure where I kind of stand on the hit.
Okay, well, we're going to play the player safety video. I cannot share the actual video itself. I can only play the audio. So for the audio listeners, you're going to hear it. For the video listeners, I'm going to need to turn the sound up a little bit. So here we go.
Saturday night in Toronto, Maple Leafs forward Ryan Reaves was assessed a match penalty for delivering an illegal check to the head of Oilers defenseman Darnell Nurse, causing an injury. As the video shows, Nurse gathers the puck behind the net and skates up ice as Reaves pursues from the net front on the forecheck. Reaves closes in on Nurse as he rounds the net and delivers a high, hard check that cuts across the front of Nurse's body, missing his core and picking his head, making it the main point of contact on a hit where such head contact was avoidable. This is an illegal check to the head. It is important to note that both elements of the illegal check to the head rule are satisfied on this play. First, the head is clearly the main point of contact, as Reeves' shoulder makes direct and forceful contact with Nurse's head, and it is the head that absorbs the vast majority of the force. Second, the head contact on this check is avoidable. Reeves mistimes this play, choosing an angle of approach that cuts across the front of Nurse, missing his core and making his head the main point of contact. And while we understand that Nurse is in the process of playing the puck, he does not materially change the position of his head or body just prior to contact in a way that contributes to the head being the main point of contact. If Reeves wants to deliver this check, he must take an angle of approach that hits through Nurse's shoulder and core, rather than one that picks the head, making it the main point of contact. To summarize, this is an illegal check to the head. Nurse suffered an injury on the play. Reeves has been suspended 3 times and fined twice during his 893-game NHL career. The Department of Player Safety has suspended Ryan Reaves for 5 games.
Okay, so I just replayed the NHL player safety video. If you want to go watch it, I'll put a link in the description down below. We cannot share the video on the video end. I can play the audio, though, so you guys just heard the audio of that. Carter, after watching that video, has your opinion changed?
A little bit, yeah. From most of the angles that I saw, like I've never seen the behind the like
Yeah, they don't show
behind
that.
the camera one, which I don't know why they didn't show that in the thing, but it looks a lot more like he does get him in the head more from the behind angle and not from the front. Because from the front, it looks like he tries to get him in the chest, but then just it rides up into the head. But in the other one, it looks clear head. So my opinion has changed. Nordic has proved me wrong.
That's a rare comedy there.
That is very rare.
I think a lot of it is because of Reeves' prior history. If actually, well, it kind of depends. If that was a player with no supplementary history, I think it may be a little bit of a softer penalty. But
2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe, because we saw Janot get a penalty like that, and he hasn't been suspended before, I don't think. And with Reeves, he has a history, so I think it makes a little bit of sense there. So, yeah, definitely a deserved suspension for me. Let's move on to other news around the NHL. So not a whole lot to really report on, besides the fact that the 2025 Winter Classic jerseys have officially been released. They are on sale now. This Winter Classic will be taking place. Wait, it's taking place on New Year's Eve? It's not taking place on New Year's Day this year? Oh my God! Why do these people? Why does the NHL do this? But anyways, the Winter Classic jerseys have been announced. Carter, have you seen them?
I did. I saw them before you sent them to the chat.
You like them?
Yes, I do. I think that these are some of the better jerseys that have actually been released as of late.
What is your favorite Winter Classic jersey ever? Not Heritage Winter.
I think I'd have to go with the Flyers one. Just strictly Flyers. I'd go with that one, but like coolest looking one, I think probably those baby blue Penguins uniforms.
From back then. Yeah, those
Yeah.
were always
Those ones will always, as much as I hate the Penguins, they knew how to make a jersey back then. I will say.
yes. Cutter Gauthier scored his first 2 National Hockey League goals this past week. How are we feeling about that as 2 Flyers fans sitting here?
Ooh. About time he did something.
Took him long enough. Yeah, that's
My
what all the
goodness.
comments are. Also, Neil Pionk was fined $5,000 for clipping Jesper Boquist. Carter, have you seen this? On
No.
Pionk? Okay, I'll
I
send
didn't
this.
see anything on Boquist.
It's Pionk.
No, I know, but I didn't. Oh, that hit? I think that's a pretty good hit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a hit. He gets low. He just fucking rocks him.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a fine and suspension worthy. Definite, probably it should have been. I don't know how it wasn't because that's
Yeah.
like that's the same as like a knee.
Yeah.
Because it's not like he's going against the boards. Pionk's head is heading towards the boards. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure there's a video on it from player safety. Do you want to watch it? Wait, is there? No, there's not. Never mind. No, there's not. I thought there was for a second. No, there isn't.
He doesn't even like. It's usually I'm like, okay, it's a hip check when he's heading towards the boards.
Yeah.
Pionk's head is heading. It makes no sense. It's definitely a fine, and it's probably suspension worthy. But I'm glad you didn't.
Probably. Did you see Evgeny Kuznetsov's like outrageous goal that he scored in the KHL? Did you see that?
That was absolutely unreal.
Flicked it up in the Michigan in front of the net. Where was this in the NHL? Like I don't understand.
I'll tell you where it's been. Trevor Zegras, and he sucks.
Yeah, trash. Maple Leafs forward Cale Yarncrook has undergone groin and sports hernia surgery. He is listed as month to month and has not played yet this season. Hopefully, Yarncrook will be okay. One of the depth pieces for Toronto. Again, has not played at all this year. Mike Riley is set to have a heart procedure, and he is out for quote months. So I'll read the post here. Islanders defender Mike Riley is out indefinitely and will undergo a heart procedure that will keep him out for several months. The operation will deal with previously existing heart condition discovered in recent unrelated testing after his recent concussion. GM Lou Lamoriello said it was picked up through the different echocardiograms that you go through in any post-concussion situation. Probably a blessing in disguise in what transpired. They detected something that you're sometimes born with, but never know. So hopefully Mike Riley will be okay. Definitely an interesting situation there that he's in, but hopefully he will come out of this recovered and be okay. And lastly, the final piece of news that I saw that was big, unless if I need to check real quick, JT Miller is taking a personal leave and is likely linked to a lingering shoulder issue. So this does really affect the Vancouver Canucks in a way because JT Miller, one of their better players on the team. And I think for a team like Vancouver that hasn't been like spectacular this season, I think that's something you definitely need to look at and point out, seeing how him leaving might really affect this team. We even said that they could be like the New Jersey Devils of this year and potentially fall out and miss the playoffs. But I'm not saying that will happen. I'm saying that might happen. Let's move on now from news around the league to the Detroit Red Wings. So I've been getting a ton of requests on TikTok, on Instagram to talk about the Red Wings. And guys, we're finally going to do it. The Detroit Red Wings are coming off of an absolutely disastrous California road trip, going through and playing Anaheim, Los Angeles, and San Jose, losing all of them, only coming out with 1 point on that overall road trip. Absolute disaster. So the first game, they lose 6-4 to Anaheim. That's when Cutter Gauthier scores his first NHL goal. They go up 3-1 in the game, and then they end up losing again. Or they end up blowing the lead and losing. Then they play Los Angeles the next day. They get massacred 4-1. Then they play San Jose, who they go up. San Jose ties it. They go up. San Jose ties it. They go up. San Jose ties it. San Jose takes the lead. They tie it. And then San Jose ends up winning in overtime off of Macklin Celebrini's first overtime goal. But the Red Wings so far this season are 7-9-2. 7-9-2 for 16 points. Carter, they are tied for last in the Eastern Conference. What do you have to say about this Red Wings just brutal start to the year and a horrendous California road trip?
When you lose to the Ducks and the Sharks in the same road trip,
Yep.
not a recipe for success. When you let the Anaheim Ducks put up 6 goals on you, it's not a recipe for success. To add some more things into it, when you let Cutter Gauthier score his first goal in the NHL on you, I hate you. When you let Trevor Zegras score on you, who is having probably the worst year he could have, that is not a recipe for success. When you go up 3-1 in this game with 3 minutes left in the second period, you deserve to lose this game. You do. There's no other way to put it. You cannot let a lot of these guys score. You cannot go up 2 and then blow the game. I get it. Anaheim's at home. Whatever. Anaheim does not carry a lot of fans. And another thing I will say, last thing before I'll let you speak.
Wow, you keep going, man.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find who the starting goalies were. Oh, Boxer.
Who, the Red Wings?
No, for the Ducks.
I think it was probably Dostal.
No, it was Gibson.
Oh wow.
So Gibson came back, and you don't test him enough. You only put up 25 shots, and he let 4 of them by you. That's not good. And to follow that up, when you face 28 shots and you let 5 of them in, that's also not good.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you go for this. Well, obviously, I mean, I kind of do. Make some saves. Shoot the puck. 25 shots in the first game. Second game, 18 shots. And they gave up 41. You do not win hockey games like that. It is very rare. It happened, I think, the Flyers did it where they put up like 18 shots on the Senators and won in overtime?
That was a pretty horrendous freaking game.
That does not happen often. You do not win hockey games like that.
Yep.
I don't know how the Flyers did that, but yeah. And then you face the San Jose Sharks. And you put up 20 shots compared to their 34. Shoot the puck. You have goal scorers everywhere. Dylan Larkin, goal scorer.
Larkin
there's goal scorers everywhere on this team. There's so many that you have to do it. Tarasenko, sniper. Raymond, sniper. Larkin, sniper. Patrick Kane, one of the best passers you've ever seen. Alex DeBrincat, sniper.
They've all
Shoot the damn
struggled.
puck. Mort Seider on the point. One of the best slap shots we have in the NHL right now. Shoot the fucking puck. I think that's my first swear that I don't know, but shoot the puck. Oh my goodness. You gotta shoot the puck more if you want to win hockey games. You have to. That's what happens. That's how you win hockey games. Shoot the puck, please.
So I want to put it into perspective. The Red Wings have only 46 goals scored. All of the teams that are in the bottom 5, except for Chicago, have more goals than them. To put it into even more perspective, the Detroit Red Wings only have 3 players on their roster who have scored more than 5 goals this year. The Montreal Canadiens, who are tied with them for last, also have 3. That's not a good look. You look at the teams that they need to play better than. Like let's look at Buffalo here real quick and see how their guys are performing. They definitely have, yeah, they have more. They have at least 5 or 6 players here who have more than 5 goals each on this roster. You look at Ottawa. Ottawa's probably the same freaking story. Like, you need to score. Like, that's their biggest. I would say that's probably one of their biggest problems. They can't seem to get on the score sheet. Dylan Larkin's scoring, but apart from that, Alex DeBrincat has 8 goals. Lucas Raymond only has 2. Seider only has 1. He's a defenseman. Tarasenko, the guy you brought in, only has 2. Kane only has 3. It just seems like the offense is dried up, and the overall play from this team is dried up. Now, Carter, what's the weird positive on this team right now?
Nothing.
No, there's a positive there. Scroll to the bottom of the NHL stats.
Hold on. There's a positive?
Yeah.
They're not in last?
No.
Oh.
Look up the Red Wings stats on NHL.com.
I'm good. I'd rather just complain.
Okay, the goaltending has been a positive. Thanks for that, Carter.
Really?
Talbot, yeah, look at the goaltending.
I mean, Cam Talbot's playing good.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Lyon, he's 314 goals against average. Ville Husso sucked ass.
Okay, look at the blue line he's playing in front of. Husso's bad, I'll give you that. But look at the blue line he's playing in front of.
I mean, yeah, it's all right, but like,
make me pull up the daily face-off thumbnail, or the daily face-off thumbnail, the daily face-off defensive line. I don't know why I said thumbnail.
I mean, I got it. I mean, it's not the greatest, but like, I mean, shoot, I don't know. I'm currently looking at something else right now, and I will tell you when I get it.
Oh my god. Okay, as Daily Faceoff struggles to load, let me read you guys the Detroit. Oh god, Carter, what is it?
All right, I found my stat. This is Carter's fun stat of the day. The Detroit Red Wings are dead last in shots. Total shots, they're dead last. Next closest team is Montreal, and they have 21 more shots than the Detroit Red Wings. The difference between the Edmonton Oilers, who have the most shots in the NHL right now, compared to the Detroit Red Wings, is 220.
I got more stats for you.
I will say this. Their shots per game played is higher than the Montreal Canadiens.
Wow.
That is it.
That's
After
crazy.
that, it is brutal. Oh my goodness.
All right. Red Wings, least goals scored in the NHL. Least, besides Chicago, I think. This is a little outdated. Least 5v5 goals scored in the NHL. Worst penalty kill in the NHL. 7th worst goal differential. Least points from their defensemen. I'll read off their blue line in a second. The worst shot differential. And the 5th worst team in the NHL. This was a team last year that started off so good and at the bottom of the league. When do you realize, like, Carter, what is the problem here? Do you need to fire the coach? Or is this upper management? Because it's been almost what? Is this going to be like the 9th year in a row they've missed?
So,
I think it's probably Lalonde that goes first.
I have another stat. I have another stat. So you know how I said that the Detroit Red Wings are dead last in shots?
Yeah.
It's second in shots per game.
Yeah.
They are 3rd in saves per game.
Oh my god.
So when you are 3rd in saves per game, right? I'm also going to say this. Saves per game isn't a good stat either. Because the team that's 1st in saves per game, the Anaheim Ducks. The team that's 2nd, the San Jose Sharks.
Oh my god.
Defense and offense. There's 2 things that they have to do, and they don't do it. They don't shoot the puck, and they don't help their goaltender.
This team is just simply has not been good enough. Let's read their blue line. First pairing is good. Simone Edvinsson and Moritz Seider. Second pairing, Ben Sherrod and Jeff Petrie. That's what 8 years of rebuilding has gotten you. Eric Gustafson and Justin Hull is your third pairing. Oh, Carter found something else. Like,
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. It's unfathomable. Like, when are you going to realize that there's problems with this team? Seriously. I don't understand. This is the 8th season they've been in this rebuild. They come really close last year, shot at a really high shooting percentage, and it's completely fallen back down to earth. Completely.
This was something that I didn't think that I was gonna get to bring up. And I'm glad I found their shots because this is now embarrassing. I don't understand. I really don't.
I would love it.
And you want to know the crazier part? You want to know the crazier part? They have the 3rd best power play percentage.
That's kind of crazy. Well, they do have. Look at who's on their power play though. They have Patrick Kane. They have Lucas. They have a really stacked power play. But that's still kind of crazy. I'm trying to find if there's a way where I can read off their shots that they've had on by game without taking years to load them up.
Oh, probably.
All right, let me do this real quick. So let's look at their last 4 games and how
I
many
already got it.
had. Oh,
Wait,
you already got it.
Wait, no, I don't.
I'm looking at like per game. So against the Penguins, they have 31 shots. They win 3-2. So you see, when you shoot a lot, you actually win the game.
Oh, perfect. I got it too.
Against Anaheim, they put up 25 shots.
Yeah.
You're lucky you had 4 goals. There's John Gibson in that, by the way. Against LA.
I already read off these shots.
Oh, you did?
I read these off at the start. That's when I first started yelling.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going at them again. Well, again, against LA, 18 shots to 41. And then against San Jose, which was a 10:30 game. I actually stayed up to watch it because I didn't have school the next day. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to watch this game. They had 20 shots. It's not good enough. Just to wrap up, it simply is not good enough from what we've seen from the Red Wings, and it needs to get better. It does. Okay, let's move on from negative to even more negative here with the St. Louis Blues, who have started this season off not so great. They are currently 8-11-1 for 17 points through the first 20 games played. They are luckily 6th in the Central Division. However, Nashville's only 2 points behind them. Chicago's only 4 points behind them. So it's not really that big of a gap between them and the other bad teams. They are tied with Utah, though. So I will say that. They are tied with Utah. So at least they're in there and they're close. But I want to read off their last 7 games so far. And this is a stat posted by Puck Empire. They have 1 win in their last 6 games, 6 losses, 29 goals against, and a minus 15 goal differential. Carter, I want you to bring up those last 7 games the Blues have played while I read off their player stats, because I also want to take into consideration that this team has faced a lot of injuries as well. They are missing Broberg. They are missing Krug. What do you mean none?
I said done.
Broberg. Oh, done. I think I said none. I'm like, they're missing Broberg. They're missing Krug. They're missing Thomas, who just came back last night. They're missing Pierre-Olivier Joseph. They're missing a lot of key players on their blue line who they really could be using, but they're not. Now, fortunately, Jordan Kyrou has played the whole year, and so has Pavel Buchnevich. Both of them look solid. The goaltending has looked not so great. Both goalies below a .900. Both have looked not good. I had a stream last night with St. Louis and Minnesota. Jordan Bennington led in a couple weak ones. So, yeah, just overall, it has been a pretty horrendous season so far from the Blues. And as well as that, too, Carter, they are also one of the teams where they only have 3 players with more than 3 goals. So, another thing to point out there, too. So, Carter, what has their last 7 games been like?
All right, their last 7 games. So they just wrapped up a game against the Wild. Loss. Carolina Hurricanes. Loss. I feel like kind of that was acceptable. Boston Bruins. They won in overtime. There you go, right? But then you lost against the Buffalo Sabres on the road. Then you're at home against the Bruins, and you lost that one. And you lost against the Washington Capitals. And then you lost against Utah. So in their last 6 games, they have 1 overtime win.
In overtime, not in regulation. You have to keep in mind they have blown multiple leads in that point. They blew a lead against Boston. They blew a lead against Utah, I believe. They blew a lead against Buffalo as well. It's been horrendous. Not to mention they got onslaughted by Washington 8-1. And that's after in late October they got onslaughted by the Blues. They got onslaughted by themselves. They got onslaughted by the Senators 8-1 at the end of the month. So what changes here, Carter? What needs to change? Because this team is clearly not that team that has won the Cup.
Well, I'll tell you where it should start.
Could you fully blame it on injuries?
You probably could. You could get away with it for sure. You got to look at goaltending a little bit too, and that's where my head turned. That's one of the first stats that popped out to me. Minnesota Wild in 889. Carolina 833. Boston 889. Buffalo 878. Boston 900. Washington 703. Utah 900. You have not had a game better than a 900 save percentage. So you got to start doing that.
The fall off is crazy from Jordan Bennington. Oh my God.
It has not been good. He's kind of playing himself out of a Team Canada spot.
And a Team Canada spot that is so unbelievably wide open. It's waiting for you to take it. Like, seriously. It's probably going to be low.
There on a silver plat.
Yeah.
When you're going up against Sam Montembeault for the starting spot,
Aiden Hill, Logan Thompson.
Those are goalies that Jordan Binnington should be beating out, and he's not doing it. He's not. So, it's as simple as that.
So I want to do a little I'm gonna, because we are the save percentage people here. I want to look at Binnington's career and how his save percentage has just decreased. It's crazy. You look at it on a graph, his save percentage has just been consistently going worse and worse throughout his entire career. In 2018-19. Worse. Yeah, whatever. In 2018-19, Bennington had a .927. That's the year they won the Stanley Cup. That's the year that, they have a great comeback season. In 2019-20, he's still good. .912. That's still good. 2020-21, .910. Still solid. 3 years of solid numbers there, but it's going down. In 21-22 was when the big step back was taken. 3.13 goals against and a .901 save percentage. Last season, or in 2022-23, .894. And reminder, that was the year where we saw Binnington try and fight Marc-Andre Fleury. We saw that was the year where he was starting a lot of stuff and being an idiot out there on the ice, and it showed in his play. In 23-24, he actually had a good year. .913. His best save percentage since 2019-20. Good season. So far this year, 3.19, .887. It is getting worse and worse as we go down the stretch for the Blues. Now, you look at Joel Hofer, I don't know how you say it actually. He's a U.S.-born goalie, I believe. He was somebody who came in his rookie season last year with the Blues. His stats for this season so far, 3-3-0. He has a goals against of 3.45 and a save percentage of .893. In last year, he played 30 games at a .914. So, he's early in his career, so it's kind of hard to tell what he's really going to be yet. But, Carter, is the goaltending the number one problem, or is there another problem on this team too?
Well, is there another problem on this team? That's a great question. Do you want there to be another problem for this team? Do you want me to find one?
I don't know particularly, but
I mean, do you want me to find one?
Sure.
All right. Well, I don't know if I have one.
All right, well, I
think the save percentage over those games has been pretty bad. Their save percentage throughout the season was pretty good to start it off. They had 9.3, 8.6, 8.5, 8.8, 100, 9.2, 8.7, 9.7, 8.4. It was all right. I don't know. I think that their shooting percentage has been pretty solid, but there's been some games where it's just been pretty bad. I will say that they have not been shut out yet, so that's a positive. I should not have said that. Oh God.
They're getting shut out 8-0 next game.
Oh God, I'm putting the house on it.
I do want to bring up their offensive depth has been a little bit lacking.
Yes.
I feel like, it could be better. I think that you look in terms of like their fourth line only has 12 points combined. Their third line, which is Joseph, Holloway, Boldu. Joseph has 4 points. Boldu has 5. A little bit better, but I think that, you want some more offensive depth out of your roster. I think also like missing Robert Thomas for a few games in there, missing Broberg, he's going to be out for a while. I think those injuries definitely have an impact on this team, but I don't think that's all you can chalk it up to as just being injuries. So yeah, there's definitely legitimate problems with the St. Louis Blues, and we'll see where it goes from here. Okay, Carter, do you have anything else in the Blues?
No.
Anything else on the Red Wings?
Shoot the puck.
Okay, that will conclude this episode of the NordCast. Thank you guys very much for watching or listening. We really do appreciate it. Carter, any final thoughts? Shoot the puck.
Shoot the puck.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Shoot the puck.
That's about all I need to say. Shoot your shots. Shoot your shots. All right, you never know. They could go in.
Shoot your shots, boys. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Scott.
Yes. All right.
Not Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, not Wayne Gretzky for sure. All right, that'll conclude this episode of the NordCast. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next week. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.